everything you can think of to dazzle your grandchildren and have them think you're the greatest and the best ever. But it's pure joy, and you have to pay attention. It's some work involved, of course, in making a good relationship like that work, but the payoff is incredible for the small price to pay. One of my dear friends asked me, said, I've got teenagers now. What else can I do to influence their life? And I said, maybe not that much. But here's two good words to consider. Now that they're teenagers, the key is to be available and capable. Capable of good answers when they need them, capable of counsel when they need it, available when they need to make a call, but trying to daily influence somebody's life, after they've become, especially teenagers, right? It's a tough job to do. But if I think if you settled for that, being available and capable. I want to be well-read, and have good command of language, and be able to translate my own feelings and experiences into useful conversation so that when the need arises, I'll have something valuable and wise to say, however short or long it may be. It's like fishing, you can't jerk too hard or you lose them. And you can't leave too much slack, let them off the line, they're gone. So it's called pull, 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 easy, easy, pull, pull, easy, easy. To learn how to fish, to catch fish. It's kind of the same with communication, strong enough but not too strong. It can't be weak or the point doesn't get across. It has to be strong. Strong without being rude, I say, in one sense. That's more a presence. But in communication as well, well-chosen words mixed with measured emotion, not too much, not too little. When the actor gives a performance, if the script is well written, that's part of the structure. The rest is delivery, part of it is style, but part of it is enough emotion for the point, not too much. And I think parents have to do the same. Sometimes kids have a valid objection to saying it's not that big a deal. And in the parents' mind, they've made it into this monster deal when it really isn't. But if you always make everything into a big monster deal when it isn't, kids get a bit misled by that. The key is to save up that emotional content of making something a big deal, if it's a big deal, and be a little more rational and emotionally contained when it isn't such a big deal, more thoughtful than volume, more caring than loud. I don't know. It's an art. It's a bit tricky dealing with kids, right? You got to tell them what you love and what you hate. I love you, but I hate what's happening. They need to know both. How do you put both strong feelings in the same sentence, love and hate? But we've got to do it, because we have to deal with both. What's right, what's wrong, what's better, what's okay, what would be better. We all struggle with the language. Words are clumsy sometimes when you try to express what's going on in your head, let alone your heart. It's not an easy challenge. If the parents are okay, the kids are okay. Chances are high, odds are high. If the parents are okay, the kids are okay. Your own self-development is the best contribution you can give to your children. Not self-sacrifice, self-development and contribution. Self-sacrifice usually earns contempt. Self-development and self-investment earns respect. I used to use the old phrase, I'll take care of you, you take care of me. I found out how short-ended that was. I changed it, and Bob Cummings, the old movie star, helped me to change it. Here it is. I'll take care of me for you, if you'll take care of you for me. The best contribution I can make to you, if you're my friend, is my personal development. What if I become 10 times wiser, 10 times stronger, 10 times better, 10 times more unique? Think of what that will do for our friendship. If the parents multiply their own personal value by 2, by 3, by 5, by 10, what would that do for their children? Wow. If the parents are happy, I'm telling you, the kids will be happy. If the parents engage in unique lifestyle, don't miss anything. Drink deep of the cup of whatever's available. I'm telling you, if the parents are okay, the kids are probably going to be okay. Wow. If you're on an airplane, the stewardess says, if we run out of oxygen, these masks are going to drop down. And then she says, make sure you take care of your children first. No. Would you underline no? Would you underline no? No. Have you got that? You should take care of your children first. No. That's key. It says, put your mask on first. You take care of yourself first. Then you assist your children.
See them people up here, they tired of buying you laptops and iPhones and sneakers and all that. They hoping with everything in them that this degree flips the script, that you one day buy them a TV and another house. Look, I got 7 kids. All 7 of my kids either done graduated or they in college now. You know why I send them to school? So they pay me back. That's the only reason. I just want my money back. If they could just give me a ROI, or return on investment, give me the money I dumped into y'all. Just give it back to me. You know how much paper I don't spend on these kids of mine? But you gotta learn how to fail and win anyway. You got to overcome. So now here's the lesson. Behind every moment of adversity, every single moment of adversity in your life, 2 things are going to happen. There's going to be a lesson and there's going to be a blessing. You got to wait on both of them. If you let the adversity crumble, if you focus on the adversity, you will lay there and wallow in the fact that you have failed. Because failure coming. But life is 10% what happened to you. It's 90% what you do about it. Man, so what you fail. It's not really failure though. Every time you fail, it's a valuable, taught, learned experience that makes you greater for later on. They didn't tell you this at ASU. Once again, I can only use December 21st, I hosted Miss Universe. What you laughing at? It wasn't funny then. Everybody, boy, you crazy, well, you ain't nothing. Do you know, in that moment of failure, you know what really happened to you? The biggest mistake on television. Do you know one of my prayers, because every morning I have a gratitude prayer. I have a list of 89 things that I read before I start my day. I don't wake up without reading it. I don't go to bed. It's on my iPhone. It's under my notes section. I have a gratitude prayer because one of the principles of success is the more you're grateful for, the more he gives you to be grateful for. Look, I don't know but 4-5 scriptures. I done one of them already, so I ain't got but 3 more. But them 4-5 ones that I know, they 4-5 good ones though. They got me here today. So now in gratitude, when you show God gratitude, he give you more stuff to be grateful for. So I wake up in the morning, I thank you for listening. In my gratitude prayer, I put in several requests. One of my requests, because I have businesses overseas, one of my requests was, I was asking God to increase my global persona and reputation. Now, I didn't appreciate the way he did it. I did not care for the route he took. I was really looking upside God's head. Hey man, because the day after, my name on social media was Googled 2 billion times in 48 hours. I was on the front page of 64 countries' newspapers. He had increased my global persona and reputation. But it happened in a moment of adversity. And see, this is how God works, man. This is why you got to grab this from me now. It happened in a moment of adversity. I shamed myself. Man, it was humiliating. I had death threat. We got security. My wife will tell you with her fine self sitting over there. What's up, girl? I see you. Love you back. Stay with me. Thank God for that over there every day. If he ain't done nothing for me, he gave me that there over there. You feel me? That was the adversity. We got security at our house now, don't we? I have guards that come to my house. That's in my yard behind my. We had serious death threats. Colombia was so upset. You know, them boys, they sell drugs. They got drug cartel over there. You got, you know, when they mad at you, you got to pay attention. You know, this ain't, can't just play them off. You know, there ain't no skinhead. I had death threats. I had so many memes done about me. Some of y'all did the memes yourself. I had friends on TV that I thought was my friend just doing memes about me. Man, it was a week of just agonizing humiliation. Every newspaper, every morning show wanted to interview me. I wouldn't do no interview. There was some adversity had hit my life. And as people was trying to make fun of it, my family was in pain. We were suffering. But what I tell you though, behind every moment of adversity, there's 2 things. There's a lesson and there's a blessing. Here was the lesson. They ain't gonna get me like that no more. What you put in that teleprompter has to match what you put on the card, and it's got to coordinate with the IBF that I had in my ear. Because everything on that monitor and everything in my ear and on that card, the next name, according to the teleprompter, was Miss Columbia. Miss Columbia! Oh, it was a great moment. I went all the way in the back. 2 minutes went by. Ain't nobody said nothing. Then they discovered it was a mistake. Then they said, we got to fix this. The guy in my ear said, we'll straighten it out in the morning news. I walked out there myself. I decided. I'm walking back out there. The man in my ear say, where you going? What are you going to do? You said we got fixed. So I went out there and took the whole bullet myself. They changed the card from all 3 days rehearsal. They never did a runner-up because it was a new company. They did it different. Hey, they messed up everything. I took the bullet and the blame because my mama, the Sunday school teacher, and my daddy, the coal miner was alive and do the right thing. Be a man, own up.
Your dream is possible, but not only is it important that you believe and begin to know that it's possible for you to live your dream as you run toward it, but I've done something that I want to share with you called Choosing Your Future. In fact, I've developed a set of tapes talking about how to begin to create your own reality by choosing your future. And not only is it important for you to know it's possible for you to choose your future, but it's necessary that you work on yourself, that you develop yourself. It's necessary that you get the energy drainers out of your life, people who don't want anything, people who are not striving, people who are not challenging themselves, people who aren't growing, people who have stopped dreaming. It's necessary that you align yourself with people and attract people into your business who are hungry, people who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more. My mother used to say, birds of a feather flock together. If you run around with losers, you will end up a loser. It's necessary that you get the losers out of your life if you want to live your dream. It's necessary to know that everybody won't see it, that everybody won't join you, that everybody won't have the vision. It's necessary to know that a lot of people like to complain, but they don't want to do anything about their situation, that you are an uncommon breed. You know, you have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself. That's necessary. It's also, ladies and gentlemen, necessary that you be creative when you're working on your ideas, that you understand the importance of changing up, of readjusting your strategies. Many times we can have a great idea, but if you're not advancing it in the right way and things don't happen, you become discouraged and think the idea doesn't work. No, that's not true. It's necessary that we become creative. I remember when I was in New York walking down the street and a guy approached me and said, "Hey, mister, can I shine your shoes?" And I said, "No, I'm in a hurry. I don't have time." I kept walking. Someone else said, "Hey, man, your shoes look clutty. May I shine your shoes?" I said, "No, I don't have time. I'm sorry, I'm busy." And I was walking fast, and many people solicited me for my business. And then finally, a young man stepped in front of me, and he said, "Excuse me." And he started counting, 97, 98, 99, 100. He said, "Sir?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Come here, please." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Today is my birthday. And every year, just to thank God for another year of life, the 100th person who passes my shoe shine stand, I offer them a free shoe shine. Would you give me the honors?" I said, "Why, sure." I got up on the shoe shine stand, George, and I sat there and he shined my shoes diligently. And when I got down, I looked at them, they were sparkling. And I was walking away and I said, "Thank you." And I stopped, I said, "Excuse me, but how much do you usually charge?" He said, "Only $2. I said, "I tell you what, today's your birthday. Here's $5, keep the change." He said, "Thank you." As I was walking away, looking in the opposite direction at other people coming, he started counting again. 97, 98, 99, 100.
It's hard to find a mentor that's got all the qualities. Somebody mentors you in good health. Somebody mentors you in spirituality. Somebody mentors you in business and career. Somebody mentors you in friendship. It's hard to find it all in one package. But you know, genius comes in strange packages sometimes with their idiosyncrasies. If we could have lived around some of the geniuses of the past. Leonardo, I mean, he might have been impossible to live with, right? But he had this incredible genius. So sometimes you got to look past the idiosyncrasies and faults and not look so much at the strange package that this genius came in, but to appreciate the genius. Unless it's totally intolerable, and some have lived fairly almost intolerable lives, right? But they had this genius. The life of Van Gogh. I mean, this was a strange character, right? He cut off his own ear. He had some torments. But his irises now sell for what, 40 million or something? We now consider him a genius. It was a rather strange package. And then I found that geniuses have no sense of time. If you would have had a chance to meet Michelangelo, and Michelangelo says, "Why don't you come and see me work?" Say, "Okay, I'll come tomorrow morning." And you get there, 8, 9 o'clock, and he's been there since 4. And he tells you, "I got here a long time ago." And you say, "Well, isn't that early to go to work?" And he says, "Early, early. What does early mean?" And maybe it's 10 o'clock at night, and he's still chipping away at something, right? His genius is working. You say, "Michelangelo, isn't it a little late?" He says, "Late? What does late mean? I don't comprehend. What does that mean, late?" So it is true. You have to sort of tolerate the inconsistencies of some very remarkable people who have much to share. Too bad about my friend and my mentor, Earl Schoaf. He drank champagne every day. Champagne's okay, but not every day. And he smoked his Camels. He was not a chain smoker, but pretty close. Back when the packages didn't say, "These things will kill you." So What are you going to do? So he smoked his Camels and drank his champagne. And on that, he miscalculated. For all of his other wisdom and uniqueness, he miscalculated on his champagne and his Camels. He just didn't have any concept that they were going to kill him, at least that early, age 49. So that taught me as well, you got to take a look at all the systems and make sure you're not a bit disillusioned by something that can someday shorten your life or do you in or wreck your enterprise or disengage your marriage or whatever. You got to keep looking at everything. Carelessness and casualness sometimes creates casualties, both on the freeway and in business, marriage, friendship. My advice started long ago, I think, when I said, be a student, not a follower. I mentioned in one of my seminars, I seek no disciples. I'm not looking for a following. I just want to find people who want to share good ideas, come together and let me share my experiences and see if that's valuable. Personally, I wouldn't be so enamored, I think, by someone as to sort of make them a god and make myself a disciple. I would not do that. Only the Lord's disciple. Because on the radical side, it can cause trouble, You wind up in a fire in Waco, Texas. Koresh and his followers. So that's the radical extreme. Let me quickly give you now a list of the skills that changed my life forever. Developing a new philosophy that I could do it in my network marketing experience now led me to developing new skills. Right? I knew how to milk cows, but it didn't pay well. Here's the first skill I learned to change my life. Getting a customer, making a sale. If you share a unique product, talk about its merits, persuade someone that it's the best, they agree to buy, that's the simple art of sales. So we're not talking like high-powered spacecraft technical skills here. It's simply sharing something you've discovered with someone else and doing it well enough to where they agree they would like to participate. Now here's what happened when I learned sales. It multiplied my income by 5. Now it didn't take that much because I wasn't doing that well in farm country, but it did multiply my income by 5. Sales, getting customers, laying that incredible foundation for an entrepreneurial career. So now I've got 2 skills, milking cows and making sales. Here's the next one I learned. It changed me forever, and that's recruiting, introducing the business opportunity to new people, learning how to give a good invitation, learning how to give 2 kinds of presentation, formal and informal. And the third part of recruiting, of course, is following up. Once you start a new life, now you got to take care of it, like a new mother would take care of her baby. You don't start a new life and abandon it. You start a new life and nourish it like a mother, protect it like a father. You got to be both mother and father to a new person. Nourishment, ideas like a mother. Protection, help defend your new life against the encroachment of outside voices that would try to talk them out of it. So you got to be mother and father in this art of recruiting. We call it being a sponsor. And being a sponsor is like being a bridge, helping somebody from darkness to light, from skeptic to faith, from not knowing to knowing, from no confidence in themselves to starting to gain confidence. You're the bridge that helps people from the shadows to the sunlight. It's one of the most exciting positions to occupy in all of network marketing industry, is the bridge, helping people crossing the bridge out from discouragement into recognition. Being this bridge, that's what the recruiting magic is all about. You've got the answers. They've been looking for the answers. You've got the answers. And you help them cross this bridge. You see something in them before they can see it in themselves. You assure them that it's possible to be more than they are. Therefore, they can earn more than they've got, have more than they possess. This is one of the great arts in the world. And here's what's exciting about this art. It pays big money. Because now you operate a unique philosophy taught first in the Bible. Because the question was asked, how can we achieve greatness, great wealth, great power, great influence, great recognition, great self-esteem? How can we achieve greatness? The master teacher was asked. And here was his formula for achieving personal greatness. He said, find a way to serve the many, for service to many leads to greatness. For those that are interested. Some people aren't interested, but for those that are, service to many leads to greatness. Someone says, well, best I can do is just take care of myself, which is okay, but it doesn't lead to greatness. Somebody says, I got enough bills of my own, I can't worry about someone else's bills. That's okay, but it doesn't lead to greatness. Greatness is helping people pay their bills, you forget about yours. Because if you help enough people pay theirs, yours disappear. Help people with problems, your problems disappear. The key to greatness, the master teacher taught, is finding a way. Now, a lot of people would like to serve many people, but they don't have a way. And what's exciting about you and your business is you've now got the way. Whether you use it or not is up to you. Whether you cash it in or not is up to you. Whether you make a fortune or just a little, that's all up to you. Each person's ambition, it's called the same marketing, the same product. The products are the same for everybody here.
Marketing system is the same. The difference is each person's philosophy and each person's individual ambition. But whatever your ambitions are, now you've got the ways and means. And here's what you've got the ways and means to do. Serve as many people as you would like. Now here's what's exciting about recruiting. With what you're involved in here, you can directly and indirectly affect the lives of dozens of people. Some of you are going to directly and indirectly affect the lives of hundreds of people. And some of you, if you wish, can directly and indirectly affect the lives of thousands of people. And the pay is accordingly. If you affect a few, you earn that pay. If you affect the many, you earn that pay. But the secret is found in the Bible. Service to many leads to greatness. Now, John Kennedy said it in his inaugural speech. Here's what he said: don't ask. Don't we wish that was the current political philosophy? John Kennedy said, don't ask. That's important if you understand philosophy. He said, don't ask what the people can do for you. Don't ask what the country can do for you. Don't ask what the government can do for you. That's not how you get rich. That's not how you have high self-esteem. That's not how you get trophies to put on the mantle above the fireplace. Asking what the people can do for you. Don't ask, he said, what the people can do for you, but ask, what could I do for my country? And the country means the people. What could I do for the people? I want trophies. I want recognition. I want high self-esteem. I would even like a chance to make a fortune. John Kennedy says it's easy. Don't ask what the people can do for you, but ask, what could I do for the people? Could I directly and indirectly serve many in my country? And now that you are participating in this program, the answer is yes. Now, Zig probably said it best. Zig's got some great thoughts. Zig and I have been good friends for a lot of years. Zig says money isn't everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen. Zig, you're right. Zig says, my dentist told me, Zig, only floss the teeth you want to keep. You know, forget the rest. But here, Zig is famous for this now. This is one of Zig's philosophies, and it goes right along with the other two, the Bible and John Kennedy. Here's what Zig says. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. Now, wanting everything you want, we call that self-interest. But it's okay to have self-interest if you do it in a positive way. By helping enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. Now, you can accomplish all that by learning this next skill called recruiting. And I learned it, and it made me fortunate. So now I've got 3 skills: milking cows, making sales, and recruiting. Here's the next skill I learned that paid big money: organizing. Once you got a few, get them to work together, see, and that's magic. Getting people to work together is magic. Now, yes, it's challenging, like having several members of your family. Getting them to work together is challenging, but it's magic. Getting husband and wife to work together is challenging, but it's magic when it happens. But everything magic is challenging. Just got to jot that down. Everything magic is challenging. But once you figure out the challenge and go for it, then the magic occurs. Let me tell you how magical people working together is. Let me quote the Bible again. It says, if 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing is impossible. Just try that on for your mental size. If 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing's impossible. Everybody's looking for a challenge. Here's what I teach, especially the kids. Here's the best challenge in the world. Let's go do it. Not you go do it. Let's go do it. If 2 or 3 of us decide on a common purpose to do it, nothing's impossible. Incredible. Working together, organizing. Now, when everybody's an independent, now it's a little more challenging. Like having kids, they've each got their own opinions. They've each got their own ambitions and desires. It is challenging. You've got a variety. But that's what makes life, the variety. Getting people to work together. It's like herding cats. You know, sheep are easy, but you got to try cats, herding cats. But if you can possibly get it done, the power is so immense when you get people to work together. Here's one of the powers of working together: shared testimonials. If I've got somebody new and you're there and I'm there, I give them my testimonial, you give your testimonial. Maybe what tips the scales in getting me a new person is not my testimonial, but my partner's testimonial. Somebody I'm working with, their testimonial got them. Shared testimonials are so powerful. That's why working together is powerful. Now, working by yourself is okay. All this stuff is okay. Everybody needs to know, though, where are the advantages? And these are some of the advantages. I learned to organize, paid big money. Here's what I next learned to do: promote. Promotion now pays staggering money. Here's one of the secrets: rewarding people for small steps of progress. Rewarding people. Sometimes it's just recognition, handshake, pat on the back. Mary, you're doing a fabulous job. And you figure out what those recognitions are. Small steps of progress. Guess what promotion pays if you learn it well? Big money. Getting people to do something they wouldn't ordinarily do by themselves. People will do some unique things by themselves, but if you can figure out a way to say, Mary, if you do this and this, she says, well, I'll go for it. Now, she wouldn't have thought of that on her own. Here's what works magic. It's better than money. Money's a bit unimportant. Here's what's important: Ingenuity. The best place to wake up your ingenuity is what you're doing right now. Representing a unique product and getting customers, recruiting distributors, and promoting and all this stuff. Ingenuity. Figuring out a way. If it doesn't work this way, we'll work another way. I used my ingenuity, made a fortune. My ingenuity worked on doing all these campaigns, the spring campaign and the summer campaign and the winter campaign. This week we're going to recruit school teachers. How many of you got it? How many of you got it? This is school teacher week, school teacher month. I pick out a little category and say, let's go for it. And it doesn't matter what it is. Just dream up something so that somebody's got a little more objective to go for than just their own. Key phrase. We all need to belong to something bigger than ourselves because we furnish inspiration for what's bigger and the bigger furnishes inspiration for us. I learned promotion and it paid big money. Here's next I learned. Communication, how to conduct a meeting. I learned identification, logic and reason, attack and confess, solution. Simple deals on communication. It wasn't easy for me at first. I stood up to give my first presentation, my mind sat back down. Right? Y'all been through that? Opened my mouth, nothing came out for a while. But here's what I did. I did it again. Just jot that phrase down. I did it again. That's the secret to how I got here. 35, 40 years later, that's how I got here. I did it once, it was uncomfortable. That first presentation was so lousy, if I hadn't have been doing it, I'd have gone home. It was not that good. But here's the secret to how I got here. I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and I did it again. I remember when I first decided to be a little more animated, right? And walk out away from the podium, right? Get out from just behind the podium. So I got out there, and then I thought, how do you get back? Whoa, I'm stranded out here. Remember those times? Doing something for the first time? But you learn quickly in your business, right? In your business, the guy stands up to give his first testimonial, and he's so nervous he forgets his own name, right? And 30 days later, he wants to give a 3-hour testimonial, right? You hardly get him off the stage. So, learn communication. How to affect other people with words. That's the greatest art in the world to learn. How to affect other people with words. Key phrase, don't be lazy in language. If you learn to use the gift of your own language wisely, it can make you a fortune and build an incredible life. Here's 3 other things I learned. One is to train. Training people how the business works. And then I've used another word called teach. Train and teach. And only to say this. Training people how the business works. Teaching is how life works. Because here's what all of us need for the 21st century. Business skills and life skills. The life skills are leadership skills. The life skills are learning how to set goals. Now here's the ultimate skill to learn that can transform your life and the life of whoever will listen. The ability to inspire. Inspire means help people to look up a little higher than where they are and wish they could get there. And inspire them that it's possible. Here's how we inspire, by our own testimonial. If I can do it, you can do it. Here's how else we inspire, by others' testimonial. If they can do it, Mary, you can do it. Getting people to see themselves better than they are. Getting people to see themselves richer than they are. Getting people to see themselves more capable next year than they are this year. Getting to see themselves in the future. To help both your kids and your people, here's what you must learn to do. Number 1, help people to see themselves as they are. If people have made mistakes, they got to know it. You can't go on making mistakes and hope to achieve. Mistakes have to be corrected. And you've got to do it with your children. Help them to see themselves as they are. If they've messed up, here's what you've got to say. You've messed up. But here's what's important as a parent. Don't leave them in the mess. Some parents tell their kids they've messed up and then they leave them in the mess. They don't paint a better picture. Here's what you could become with just a couple of more changes. Rather than this, here's what you could be. So we must help our children see themselves as they are, but here's the greatest gift. To help our children see themselves better than they are. To transport them not only past to see their mistakes, but transport them to the future to see their opportunity. To see the person they can become. My mentor had that greatest gift to help me to see myself better than I was. At first it was difficult to see. Then I started to believe, and that's how I got here today. He said, one of these days, Mr. Rohn, you'll walk into a room full of people, and you will hear some of them say, that's him, that's the famous man. I said, well, that could never happen to me. He said, trust me. If you keep working hard on the disciplines like you're doing right now, that'll happen. Jot these notes down now on leadership. Here's the first one. To attract attractive people, you must be attractive. Sometimes when we need other people in our enterprise, we go to work on them. When the real key is, first of all, to go to work on yourself and become an attractive person. Now, it's not a bad idea to ponder and think, what would make me an attractive person? Here's one, a refinement of philosophy so that you really understand life and challenge to the best of your ability. Your philosophy about the marketplace and politics and government and the work ethic. Your philosophy of values and contributions. Your philosophy that understands Each of us need all of us, and all of us need each of us. Each value is important. The miracle of America is all the gifts that have been flowing in here for the last 300-400 years, especially the last 200 years. No country in the last 6,000 years has become such a depository of the gifts of the world like America has the last 200 years. There's been nothing like it in recorded history. So many of the gifts of the whole world deposited in one country. My grandparents came from Odessa, Russia. They were German, but when Peter married Catherine all those years back, it opened up the door for a lot of the Germans to move to Russia. And they moved and taught the Russians farming methods. And my grandparents moved to the Ukraine, Odessa. When I lectured in Moscow, some came all the way from Odessa up to Moscow. Now they want me to come from Moscow down to Odessa. And my grandparents came from Odessa, came to America, settled in a place in central Washington where a lot of the Germans came, and they called it Odessa, Washington, named after Odessa, Ukraine. My grandfather served in the Tsar's army a long time ago. In the Tsar's army, they had this deal. Based on your deportment, you got certain points. And if you accumulated enough of these points, you got to put your name into a lottery. And my grandfather accumulated enough of these points based on his deportment in the Tsar's army and got to participate in a lottery. Guess what happened to those who won these lotteries that they held every once in a while? You got to pick up your family and go to America. And my grandfather won one of these lotteries in the Tsar's army, picked up his one son and his wife and moved to America, Odessa, Washington. And my father was born in Odessa, Washington. Interesting, huh? Wow. The gifts that we have in this country are so multiplied. People from all over the world have come here, and they didn't come empty-handed. They brought their recipes. They brought the work ethic. They brought the gift of language. They brought the gift of law. They brought the gift of music, the gift of medicine, the gift of healing. Wow. America is such a composite of all the gifts of the world. The ethnic streams that have been flowing in here have made us great. Ethnic cleansing. Where would we start? Amazing. Now here's what we need to do. Participate in the gifts that America has. Now here's the joy I have, to go back where these gifts came from. That's why I love to go back to Italy, and I love to go to Poland, and I love to go to Czechoslovakia, and I love to go to Israel, and I love to go to all the places around the world to see where America came from. And then the gifts they brought here helped me to develop my gifts. Now I'm taking some of my gifts back to where it came from. Can you imagine the feeling of now making that transcontinental contribution? Because they came here, now I go there. It's big time for a farm kid from Idaho. But to attract attractive people, you must be attractive now, working hard on yourself. Jot this down. Leadership is really the challenge to be something better than mediocre, something better than average. The step above, not just to be above from ego standpoint, but the step above so you can help someone else. What speaker was it that said, in order to lift someone up, you must be on higher ground? How true. And the challenge of leadership to be something more than average or mediocre has these components. Make this list. This is a good list. Learn to be strong but not rude. Strength we need, rudeness we don't need. Here's where it's important to learn the graces, not just the skills. Next, be kind but not weak. Sometimes it's easy to mistake weakness for kindness, but not true. Kindness is a powerful strength, but don't let your kindness become weakness. Next, learn to be bold but not a bully. Boldness we need. Bully we don't need. Throwing weight around we don't need. Trying to impress we don't need. Express, yes, but impress, no. Next is to be thoughtful but not lazy. To dream but not just become a dreamer. To think but not just become a thinker. To have a philosophy but not to become just a philosopher. I know they call me, the great business philosopher, which I like the title, it's okay. But my philosophy says, jot it down, results is the name of the game. The name of the game is not philosophy. Philosophy is just a useful tool to set you on a good track so that a year from now you'll be in a better place than you would have on the old track. Hopefully most everybody here, maybe everybody here, is going to set a new track for your health and for your family and for your future and for your activity and for your productivity and for your spirituality and all the rest of good values. So be thoughtful but not lazy. Here's the next one. Be proud but not arrogant. Pride we need. Team pride and community pride and state pride and country pride and personal pride and family pride, but not arrogance. Don't let your pride slip into arrogance. Here's the next one. Be humble but not timid. Some people mistake timidity for humility. But humility is a virtue. Timidity is an illness, a malady that can be corrected. You can learn to drive your timidity into such a small corner, it does not now disturb the rest of the house. Here's one more. In terms of sophistication, doesn't take much to learn and practice the art of sophistication. Here's a good one. Humor without folly. Humor has its place, but just don't cross the line so that your humor becomes folly. Next, it's okay to be witty but not silly. If you want to lead as a parent and lead as a manager and lead as an entrepreneur, if you want to lead as a community leader and lead as a senator and lead as an important person of influence and power, witty, yes. Silly, no. Next, every leader must understand the law of averages so you can use it for your benefit and for your company, anything you might be involved in. Here's what the law of averages says. If you do something often enough, you'll get a ratio of results. And anyone can create this ratio. In baseball, we simply call it batting average. If you go up to bat 10 times, get a hit, we say you're batting 100. 3 hits out of 10, you're batting 300. You don't have to be perfect going up to bat. These days, batting 250, 300, you can make $4 or $5 million a year. In sales, that's about all you got to do. You don't need to bat 1,000, right? You don't need to bat perfect. You can get plenty of no's, but the yeses can make you rich. So don't worry about the no's. Concentrate on the yeses that make you rich.
The Israelites didn't have a chance. They didn't have food, equipment, supplies, strength, experience, but God is not limited by what you don't have. He's not intimidated by how big the opposition is, by how bad the medical report looks, by what the financial statement says. God multiplied the sound of these lepers' footsteps and caused this huge army to flee for their life. They left in such a hurry they didn't even take their belongings. They didn't even grab their tents. God knows how to quickly get rid of the opposition. Don't be discouraged by how permanent the obstacle looks or by how much bigger it seems than you. You have an advantage. The Most High God is on your side. He knows how to cause your enemies to hurry out of your way. Not gradually, not over a few months. You're about to see some things quickly turn around. Problems suddenly resolved. Enemies rapidly defeated. What's interesting is while the lepers were walking, they didn't know what God was doing. They couldn't hear what the enemy was hearing. Everything seemed normal to them, but God was doing something supernatural. You don't know what God is up to right now. While you're believing, while you're doing the right thing, everything may seem just the same, but God is talking to your enemies. He's causing them to hear what He wants them to hear. The Syrians didn't say to the lepers, okay, we'll leave. Just give us a few months to pack up our belongings. Give us some time to relocate. We need to find new property. They left suddenly in a panic. They were so afraid they fled for their lives. Some of the obstacles you're up against may seem like they have the upper hand. The sickness is bigger. You've had the addiction a long time. Feels like that trouble has you surrounded. But when it's your time, like with them, it's not going to leave gradually. It's not going to improve a little here, a little there. It's going to leave suddenly, like it's in a panic, like it's fleeing for its life. Well, Joel, this sounds encouraging, but I don't believe it's going to happen quickly for me. I've been dealing with this for a long time. You're right. It won't happen for you. This is for believers. This is for people that will let the seed take root. People that will dare say, God, I agree with what you said, that you will hasten your word to perform it. Lord, I believe for a quick work. I believe enemies are hurrying out of my way. I believe I'm going to see a rapid turnaround. A friend of mine worked for this company where his supervisor wasn't treating him right. He was jealous of him. My friend had a great attitude. I never heard him complain. He just kept doing the right thing, even though this supervisor would try to discredit him and make him look bad. This went on for several years. The supervisor was in his early 40s, been with the company almost 20 years. Looked like my friend would always have to deal with this. But one Monday morning, he went to work. The owner of the company called my friend in and said that the supervisor was leaving and this owner wanted him to have his position. My friend asked, when was this going to happen? When was he going to leave? The owner said he left last Friday. You're the supervisor starting right now. God knows how to cause people to hurry out of your way, to do things quickly, things that you didn't see coming. That supervisor could have been there another 30 years, but he suddenly left.